Welcome to Learn English in Your Sleep. Today we will do Band 6 Speaking Practice. IELTS Speaking Part 2. Simple Stories. Welcome back. You can listen to this while you relax or while you sleep. Today, you will learn how to answer Part 2 of the IELTS speaking test. This is the long answer. This is the story. Many students feel nervous in Part 2. They do not know what to say. They forget ideas. They stop speaking. Today, that will change. You do not need a perfect story. You do not need a smart story. You need a simple structure. A simple structure gives you confidence. A simple structure gives you ideas. A simple structure helps you speak for a long time. Now, relax. Breathe slowly and just listen. Let's learn about the story structure. For every IELTS story, you can use this structure. Let's look at the structure. Talk about when the event or story happened. When did your story happen? Talk about where did your story happen? Where did the event happen? Where? Talk about who was in the story. Who was in the story? Talk about what happened. What happened in your story? What happened? Talk about how did you feel? How did you feel? How? Talk about why. Was it important? Why was it important? Why? Let's say it again. When, where, who, what, how, why. When, where, who, what, how, why. Again, when did the story happen? Where did the story happen? Where? Who was in the story? Who? What happened in the story? What happened? For how, talk about how you felt. How you felt. Why? Why was it important? Why? This structure works for all topics. It works for story about a person, story about a place, story about an experience, story about a trip, story about a gift, story about a memory. Now you will hear simple stories. You do not need to remember them. Your brain is learning the pattern. Story 1. A memorable trip. Describe a trip you enjoyed. Describe when the trip happened. It happened about 2 years ago. Describe where the trip happened. I went to a seaside city with my friends. Describe who was there. I went with 2 close friends. Describe what happened during the trip. We stayed there for 3 days. We walked near the sea, took photos, and tried local food. Describe how you felt. I felt relaxed and happy. Explain why the trip was important. It was important because I was very stressed before, and this trip helped me. Story 2. A person who helped you. Describe a person who helped you. Describe when the help happened. When? This happened when I was in school. Describe where it happened. It happened in my school. Describe who the person was. The person was my teacher. Describe what happened. What happened? I had problems with my studies, and she helped me after class. Describe how you felt. I felt very thankful and more confident. Explain why it was important. It was important because she helped me believe in myself. Story 3. A useful gift. Describe a gift you received. Describe when you received the gift. I received this gift on my birthday. Describe where it happened. It happened at home. Describe who gave the gift. My family gave it to me. Describe what the gift was. It was a phone. Describe what happened with the gift. I started using it for study and communication. Describe how you felt. I felt happy and surprised. Explain why the gift was important. It was important because it helped me study and stay in touch with people. Story 4. A time you learned something new. Describe a time you learned something new. Describe when you learned something new. It happened last year. Describe where it happened. It happened online. Describe who was there. I was alone, but I had an online teacher. Describe what you learned. I learned how to use a new computer program. Describe how you felt. At first, I felt confused, but later I felt proud. Explain why it was important. It was important because it helped me work better. Story 5. A place you like. Describe a place you like. Describe when you go there. I usually go there on weekends. Describe where it is. It is a park near my home. Describe who you go with. I sometimes go alone and sometimes with friends. Describe what you do there. I walk, listen to music, and relax. Describe how you feel. I feel calm and peaceful. Explain why it is important. It is important because it helps me relax and think. Now you know how to tell a story in IELTS. You have a structure. You have a plan. Focus on when the event happened. Focus on where the event happened. Focus on who was involved. Focus on what happened. Focus on how you felt. Focus on why it was important. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to continue speaking. You are becoming more confident. You are improving every day, even while you sleep. Keep listening, keep learning, and trust yourself.